My name is Jordan Blake. I'm 35, an architect by trade, and the kind of man who's always chosen stability over flash. I've never been drawn to chaos or wild ambition. I just wanted a good life, something real, lasting. For the past 5 years, I'd been in a relationship with Naomi. She was magnetic, the kind of woman who walked into a room and pulled every gaze without trying. Confident, charming, quick with a laugh. I was captivated by her energy, her ambition, the way she painted pictures of the future with her words. She talked about dreams like they were destinations we'd reach together. I believed her. We lived in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in the heart of the city. I paid most of the bills, not because she asked, but because she was in and out of marketing contracts. And I believed in being the kind of partner who shows up, supports, provides. I never resented the imbalance. I told myself love wasn't a ledger. We spoke often about owning a home one day. I had been saving since college, no flashy vacations, no luxury car, just slow, intentional discipline. I even picked up side architectural projects on weekends, sacrificing time so I could build something lasting. Eventually, I founded a beautifully restored craftsman-style home on the edge of town. Quiet street, mature trees, big yard. It felt like a place to plant roots. I paid for it in full, $612,000 in cash. No mortgage, no banks, no interest. It was the proudest moment of my life. I imagined raising a family there, designing every detail with care. I even considered building a small art studio in the back for Naomi. She'd once mentioned she loved painting. It felt right, like a beginning. The day I showed her the deed, her eyes lit up. She hugged me tightly, told me how proud she was. But later that evening, as we unpacked boxes together, she said it, casually. You should add me to the deed too. I mean, this is our dream, right? I was stunned, not angry, just blindsided. I kept my voice steady. Naomi, I said, gently, I bought this house outright. I've been saving for years. You didn't contribute financially, and this isn't about love or trust. It's a legal matter. If anything ever happened, divorce, lawsuit, I can't risk losing something I built on my own. She went quiet for a second, then her expression hardened. You think I'm some gold digger? Her tone had bite. I shook my head. No, I'm saying that protecting myself doesn't mean I don't love you. But I felt it in the air between us, the shift. The warmth that had been there hours ago was replaced by something colder. Calculating. 2 days later, I walked through my front door to find her parents sitting on my couch, sipping coffee like they owned the place. She hadn't told me they were coming. Her father, a retired banker with the ego of a Wall Street tycoon, wasted no time. Jordan, I'll be blunt. If you're serious about a future with Naomi, you'll add her to that deed. That's what committed men do. I stared at him. With all due respect, sir, this isn't a conversation for you to be involved in. His face darkened. Naomi stood behind him with her arms crossed, silent, wearing a look that told me she expected me to fold. I didn't. I bought this house with my money, I said. Nobody is entitled to something they didn't help build. That's not love, that's entitlement. They left in a huff. Naomi followed, slamming the door behind her. She didn't come home that night. 3 days later, I was served legal papers. A lawyer showed up at my office. Naomi was filing for a claim of constructive trust. Her argument, that we had verbal agreements, emotional investments, years of cohabitation that created a reasonable expectation of shared ownership. She claimed I'd promised her the house. It was outrageous. We weren't married. We had no joint accounts. She hadn't paid a cent toward the property. But her lawyer's intention was clear: pressure me, shake me down. I hired my own attorney. What followed was months of hell. Her legal team dug through our texts, twisting words, presenting cherry-picked screenshots and even fake emails, where she supposedly had written confirmation that I'd promised her ownership. But the deepest cut came when my attorney found out she'd been plotting the whole thing. Naomi had spoken to a real estate friend before we even moved in. She'd planned to flip the house, sell it, walk away with half. Her love, our shared life, it had all been a smokescreen. I confronted her. No yelling, no accusations, just a quiet, bitter question. Was this ever about us? Or was it always about the money? She didn't deny it. "You should have just added me," she muttered. "We could have avoided all this. No apology, no remorse, just raw entitlement. We went to court. Her side painted me as stingy and emotionally abusive. Mine laid out the truth proof of full payment. Text messages where she admitted to being broke when we first discussed buying. Documentation that she had no legal claim. The judge dismissed it. Her case fell apart, but the damage had already been done. I changed the locks the same day, packed her things, sent them off by courier. Mutual friends told me she tried to rewrite the narrative that I'd used her, that I was heartless, selfish, but the truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how loud the lies are. 6 months passed. Then, unexpectedly, I received a letter. Handwritten, no return address in it. Naomi admitted everything, that she'd let greed guide her, that her parents had pressured her to secure her future, that she did love me, but couldn't handle being with someone who had more than she did. I never responded. I still live in that house, alone, but it's mine every inch of it. I turned the spare room into a home office, and yes, I built the art studio anyway, not for her, but for me. It's my sanctuary now, my space to think, to breathe, to remember what I nearly lost. Love isn't about what you feel owed. It's about what you build together. Naomi tried to claim half of something she had no hand in building, and in doing so, she lost everything. I lost someone I once thought I'd spend my life with, but what I gained was far more valuable: clarity, strength, peace. I thought the nightmare ended when the judge threw out her case, but I underestimated just how far Naomi would go. 2 weeks later, things started happening. Little things at first. My mail arrived torn open. Expensive packages I never ordered showed up on my porch. Then came the screenshots mutual friends sent them. Naomi, on social media, calling me a thief, an abuser, a liar. She painted herself as the victim. She even hinted I'd been violent. It was all fiction, but the damage was real. I lost 2 freelance clients who didn't want to be caught in the mess. And then it got worse. One night, I came home from the gym to find my garage door spray painted in red. THIEF liar. User. I had just installed security cameras. The footage showed a hooded figure. No face. But I knew. I filed a police report, but without proof. It was a dead end. Still, I charged an unknown vandal with criminal mischief, hoping it might send a message. Then Naomi showed up at my office with another lawyer. This time, she accused me of exploiting her unpaid emotional labor. Said I owed her for years of domestic contributions, meals, errands, emotional support. I nearly laughed, but I didn't. Instead, I felt something colder. Fury. This wasn't love. It never had been. This was warfare, waged with lawyers and lies. I told my attorney to dig deeper. A few weeks later, while reviewing documents, she slid an email across the table. "You were right to trust your instincts," she said. It was from Naomi to a real estate broker dated 3 months before we moved in. "As soon as my name's on the deed," she wrote, "I want to talk selling options. He has no idea, but this place could go for a lot more next year. Let's move fast. I've earned this." I sat there, stunned. I felt like I'd been hit in the chest. Every conversation, every warm smile, every whisper of love, it had all been part of the plan. She was never building a future with me. She was building a trap. That night, I didn't go home. I drove out to the coast and sat in my car, watching the tide come in. How do you process betrayal that deep? But I wasn't done. With that email in hand, my attorney filed a cease and desist and a defamation suit for the social media slander, the vandalism, the damage to my reputation. Naomi went silent online, but she didn't disappear. She turned to my mother, claimed I was spiraling, said I needed help, cried in front of her church congregation. It worked for a moment. My mother called me, shaken. She says she still loves you, Jordan. Maybe you need help. Maybe you're not okay. I told her everything, every lie, every betrayal, every lawsuit, and the email. My mother cried. Then she blocked Naomi. The next Sunday, she stood in front of her congregation and apologized for being misled by someone who didn't understand the meaning of love. And then, the final twist. A mutual friend called. "You need to hear this," he said. He sent me a voicemail Naomi had left by mistake. She meant to call someone else, but dialed the wrong number. On the recording, her voice was thick with tears and alcohol. I had it all planned, okay? I was going to marry him, flip the house, take what I deserved, but he had to be all noble and stubborn. Now I've got nothing, and he's still living in that damn house like a king. That voicemail was the final nail in the coffin. My lawyer sent it straight to her team. They begged for a quiet settlement. She dropped all claims, signed a public retraction, and paid damages. Not much. She didn't have much. I donated the sum to a domestic abuse shelter in her name. Nearly a year has passed. At night, I sometimes lie awake, thinking about how close I came to losing everything, not just the house, but my peace, my dignity, my sense of self. Naomi didn't want a home. She wanted control. When she couldn't get it through love or law, she tried to burn everything around me. But I didn't fall, because I built my life like I built that house on solid ground, and I'm never giving the keys to anyone who didn't help pour the foundation.